Hey friend, do you have locks? Maybe semi-freeform locks? And sometimes your locks kind of fuse together and they want to commingle at the roots. But what you don't want is your locks marrying together. Kind of sort of like mine did here, and then it grew out. Not that anything's wrong with it, but you just know that you don't want it. Let's talk about your options of semi-freeform lock maintenance to prevent your locks marrying at the roots and to prevent breakage so you can have a more happy, healthy lock journey. Let's talk about it. So welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time to the channel Holistic Flow. My name is Lauren and I like to talk about semi-freeform lock maintenance, how to have a happier, healthier lock journey, and occasionally I talk about a little bit of mindset, how to live a more free mind sort of life. And today let's talk about your lock journey maintenance. So after you wash your locks and you're not planning on retwisting or whatever else lock maintenance you do, plug in your lock maintenance, whether it's crocheting, whether it's interlocking, retwisting, palm rolling, braiding your new growth into your locks, or whatever. There's two options, right, that I'm going to present today. One is popping your locks and the other is separating your locks. You can do both of these so that your locks don't marry at the root and become one. So let's talk about the first one. Popping your locks. What's the purpose of it? There's a little bit of controversy around popping your locks when you have locks. So what it is basically when you have two locks that are the hairs of each lock, you can't tell which one goes into which lock. And so you just basically break off the piece in the middle that's, trying to fuse them together. To pop your locks safely, you want to make sure that you're holding the base of the hairs of the individual locks and then use another finger to break off the portion of the hairs when they're trying to tangle together. And you always want to pop your locks when your hair is wet. Like usually I do it straight out of the shower. You don't want to do it ever when it's dry, because that's when it can definitely cause some damage. Some advantages of popping your locks is that, number one, again, your roots don't marry at the root. Number two, you keep your hair organized and separated. So if you had a parting system especially that you went with when you first started your locks, and you want to maintain a certain system of organization with your locks, your hair is going to know where to go. So this one is especially good if you're retwisting. Some disadvantages of popping your locks is if you don't do it correctly, again, it can break off your locks, like if you do it on dry locks, or if you are not holding the base of each lock so that your scalp doesn't hurt when you do it. So that's pretty much, it's easy. Let's talk about separating your locks. Separating your locks is also what you do when you don't want two locks to become one, or three locks or four locks to become one. But basically, instead of popping your locks, you are just gently pulling the locks apart. You usually just hold the base of the locks that are trying to fuse together and just gently pull them apart. You don't go in and break any, individual hairs off. That would be popping your locks. You also want to do this when your hair is wet, because again, if you do it while your hair is dry, it's going to cause damage. Some benefits of this one is, unlike popping your locks, you're not actually like breaking your hairs apart. However, a disadvantage is sometimes it causes more tension on the scalp because you literally have to pull, your hairs apart. There are disadvantages and advantages to each of these for different people. So which one should you do and which one is best for you? So I'll give an example for me before, we can decide that for you. When I first started my lock journey in 2021, I planned on retwisting my locks once a month. However, I did that for a couple of months and then I realized I don't like the look of my scalp being exposed. It just looks too clean and too neat, and I honestly don't care to part every little section and then put them little annoying little clips on there to retwist my own locks. And I was not dishing out any money to go to a loctician. So when I realized I still had to have some lock maintenance in order for them to not fuse at the root, I started popping my locks. I felt like instead of separating, popping my locks was the only way to keep my hair organized in the sections that I wanted them to go in. However, over time, because I have semi-freeform locks and because I now braid my new growth into my locks whenever it gets fuzzy at the roots, I no longer feel the need to pop my locks as much because my hair is now trained to be maintained at the frequency that I want to maintain it, and I don't see the need for popping my locks because my roots don't try to fuse as much or marry as much as they used to when I was first in my starter lock journey. So at first, when it didn't really feel that safe to separate my locks because, ouch, I'm a little tender-headed. And so I popped my locks because I could still hold the locks taut at the root so it wouldn't hurt me. And so sometimes separating makes more sense. I've gotten used to separating my locks even though I'm not that tender-headed, because separating my locks does not involve breaking, the pieces in the middle of the hair. However, I will say, with popping your locks and breaking off that part in the middle, you're not really breaking off your hair, because you're still gonna put that broken off hair back into the section where you want it to go. So your hair is still on the head. Like, the same amount of hair that you're popping off is still on your head. You're just putting it in a different place because, again, you have locks. You know what I mean? So here's what I would say. If you retwist on a regular basis, I'm talking about once a month or every 2 months, every 3 months or something like that, where you have a regular retwist routine or regular palm roll, interlocking, again, insert whatever maintenance you do right here, then maybe popping your locks would be better for you, because the system of organization is more important. If you have parts that you want to maintain and keep a crispy look every once in a while, popping your locks would make a lot more sense. Separating your locks, though, is not really conducive to regularly maintaining your locks with a crispy retwist every once in a while, with a fresh, parts system. The separating your locks doesn't really leave that much room for defining your locks. It's a more loose way of just pulling your locks away from each other so that they don't marry. Therefore, I think for most people, separating your locks, if you are semi-free-forming and you truly, truly do not care about what your parts look like, even if you do retwist every once in a while, then I think separating your locks would be fine. Let me know whether you pop your locks or separate your locks in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, then you can watch this video right here. And if you want to see my maintenance routine, you can watch it in the description box below and see my lock maintenance routine playlist. I'll see you in the next video. All right, y'all. Peace.